Hi guys, welcome back. It's CoeliacTeenager and today's video is all about parties. Now I thought this would be a brilliant video because literally about 2 days ago, I actually went to a party and I thought this is the best time to actually talk about parties and obviously food and how you can prevent being contaminated and that kind of thing. So if you're interested in this kind of video, please keep on watching. So the first thing I advise you to do is definitely do your preparation and do everything in advance. So once you know about this party, make sure that you call them up or you ask your friend or whoever it is what they're going to be doing for food. This is so important. Even if they're just having pizza, you need to make sure that you know what they're having, because otherwise you're going to be sitting there with nothing if you don't ask in advance, then asking on the night, realising that you can't actually eat anything. If you ask in advance, you can ask them what kind of food they're having and what kind of food you could have instead if you cannot have any of the food. And you also need to make sure that if they don't understand it all, that you help them to understand. So talk to them about contamination. I will be doing a video on that very soon, so don't worry. Talk about what kind of alternatives you could have and, you know, supermarkets they could go to, or whether you should go and buy the food for them to make it easier for them, as they might not understand about gluten-free sections, about starch, about barley, about rye. They might not understand any of that. So sometimes it's best for you to go and do it yourself, but sometimes it's better to let them do it. So obviously make sure you recommend them places. So tell them places like M&S, tell them about the gluten-free sections, tell them about Tesco, Waitrose, tell them about all of this so that they know what kind of thing you can eat and what they can find for you to eat. When you're talking to them about contamination, you need to kind of say it in a bit of detail, because a lot of people don't really understand about if you have a pizza and you have another pizza, to not put it on the same plate. People don't get that. If they have no experience with allergies or anything, people won't understand. And it can be really frustrating, but it's not their fault at all, because they just don't know, because no one they know has an allergy. So just make sure that you explain to them in a nice way about it, and make sure they completely understand, and maybe go over it a few times just so that they completely remember, and then you'll make sure that you won't get contaminated. Also, if you're talking to your friend about it, I advise you to talk to the parents more than your actual friend if you're younger, because I know they know what food you're having, but the parents are the ones probably buying it. So it's better to ask them, because they're going to be the ones going to buy your gluten-free food if you end up having to buy other food for you. So on the actual night, don't stress out about it. Honestly, it's something that I used to do a lot, because I used to be quite nervous whether they were going to accidentally put something on the same plate. Just make sure you're calm, relax, it's fine. Honestly, they'll want to know which one of you it is. Just make sure they know that it's you, in case they haven't met you before. Just make sure they know that it's you, you're the gluten-free person. And if they don't know anything, make sure they come and ask you, If they don't understand, don't let them sit back and not have any idea. Go over to them, ask if everything is fine. Also, if you're really, really nervous that they're going to do something, just ask politely if you can watch them do it, just to help them out. Watch them make sure that they do it right, and it won't take very long, because if it's a pizza, watch them put it on the thing and put it in the oven and then watch it coming out. If you're really stressed out that much, then obviously you can go and do that. But if you tell them in advance and tell them on the night about not contaminating, then I think it'll be okay. Also, if you turn up on the night and you haven't done your advance, and you haven't called them up the night before, or any of the times you've never called them to ask them what they're having, and you turn out that you can't eat anything, the best thing to do in this case is not to panic at all. Call your parents and ask them if they can bring some food for you, or have a look what else they've got in their fridge, and just ask them if they've got anything else that you can just have, and you just eat at home. But don't make them stress out either. Don't make them feel like they've done something wrong, because technically you forgot to ask them, and it's not technically your fault either. But just make sure that you stay calm about it, because it will be fine. But if I were you, if you do forget to call them up and it's the night before and you're like, oh no, what am I going to do? Don't stress. Just bring some of your own food. This is what I used to do when people didn't know about celiac and stuff. I used to just bring my own little bag of food and a nice little kind of packaging, so I looked like I actually enjoyed what I was going to be eating, because obviously I was eating something from completely different from everybody else. But if you really, if they don't understand and you don't know, just bring your own food, and you know, make sure they know as well, like, that you're going to bring your own food, because you never know, you might turn up and they actually have something you can have anyway. Just be prepared for that. Also, you never know, they could be having some sorts of food games, which could include, like, you know, the Malteser game or Chubby Bunny, things like that. If they do have that, just ask them if they're going to play any games like that, and also if there's any alternatives, because obviously I was playing that the other day, well, not the other day, it was on New Year's Eve, and they were really good because they brought aero bubbles. I would advise you to get them if you're playing the Malteser game. And Chubby Bunny, usually you can have the marshmallows, but just make sure that you can have them. Also, about drinks, make sure that you, on the night, it's fine, you don't need to really in advance, because usually they'll have things like Coke and, you know, lemonade and stuff. Obviously, make sure you check the Coke, because the only Coke that us celiacs can have is Coca-Cola, the branded one. We can't have the cheaper versions. So make sure about that. And make sure you just check it all. You know, when they're in their massive, like, plastic cartons, just make sure that when it comes to you, that you just check it, just to make sure you can have it, and then obviously pour it. And yeah, because I actually had cocktails, and all I just did was just ask on the night whether they were okay. I had a check and they were fine. I just asked what else they're putting in it, and it was all fine. So just make sure you do that if you have any drinks. Also, a very good idea is to let everyone else know, not just the people that are making the food, but your friends, anyone. Just make sure they all know that you're the person that can't eat everything, just so that they don't end up passing you something which you can't have, or they end up, you know, accidentally doing something. Just make sure everyone knows, just in case. Another thing is, don't get panicky, don't get upset that you can't eat what everyone else can eat. Don't worry, I've had this experience quite a few times where I didn't cry or anything. I just got really kind of annoyed and upset because I felt really left out. And honestly, it's food. This is what I just realised. It's food. It doesn't matter, because it's about hanging out with your friends and having a good time. It's not all about the food. But now, because there is so much out there for us gluten-free people, there is so much choice now, so it's not like you're missing out anymore, because you're going to have just as good food as they are. So I really hope this video was beneficial to you all, and if you really did enjoy it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and comment down below if you've been to a party recently and how you dealt with having gluten-free. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!